Hi everyone, as I promised last week, I will do a small playthrough. I won't be playing the games all the way through, but I will explain to you how these games work and how to play them. So this is the first game we have. We have some fluff, as you can see on the top. Then we have 10 rounds that our goal is to score the maximum points available. What we need for this game is 2 dice and we need 2 pages. So we have this page right here and the other page is this one. I will explain to you how this works, but I won't be using it during this playthrough. I will only explain the mechanics. So in 10 rounds we will score the maximum points that we can get by crossing out these boxes over here. So what we do in the beginning is that we orientate our focus on the area we have in the middle. We have a cottage and we have to plant crops around it because this game is you and me trying to get grips on how the couple develop the land around this area. So you're not playing the couple, but you're playing your imagination how they develop this area. You have 2 action each round. You will plant crops and you will roll some dice. As you can see down here in the corner. We have a to-do list. We want to plant crops and roll some dice. Right there. Okay. At the beginning of the game, we have 2 grains available. So what we do is that we look for a number that is equal or below the amount of grain we have available. So over here, you can see this is the amount we have available. And right off the bat, we have 2 areas where we can plant our stuff. So we can choose this one up here and we can choose that one. So let's just say we planted something here. And the idea of it all is that you want to make it a little more pretty than just putting X's or do it like this. But this is basically mechanics. Okay, then we roll 2 dice. Roll them, and I rolled 11. All right, so I did not manage to get this one right away, but 11, I'll activate this row between these 2 lines. And each time I cross a field that has crops sown in it, I'll get 1 point, and I'll X out this one over here. When I get to the end, I will reach this one. This one will not be colored. Oh, sorry. I'll reach this one over here. It will not be colored, but it will tell you that you will cross out 1 grain over here. And now we have 3 grains to sow. So now we can plant there, 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 and there. And so on and so forth. This is the first game, it's quite simple. If you roll a 7, you'll activate the cottage and you will X out 2 more grains, and that is all you do when you roll a 7. Alright, this was the first game. Oh, one thing I forgot to tell you about is that in this game we have some more stuff going on. So each round you will write a small fitting text below each Polaroid image right here. So these are the photographs you find on the farm that tells a story about how this couple lived. So each round you will write a small fitting text and so on and so forth. So when you have completed 10 rounds, each image will have a small fitting text beneath it. All right, let me just find the next game. This one. This one has a bit more stuff going on. It's a bit more complex than the other one. Whoops. So let me just do like so. Again, we have 10 rounds. And what we want to do is to create the prettiest garden that we can. So how to play is over here. You can see you need a pen, you need 2 dice. And first off, we want to roll shade. And how we do that is that we grab a dice, roll it. I rolled a 5. So that was this one over here. And now I will find every single 5 in here and scratch them out. So let me just see if I can find all 5s. We have some here. We have some here. And if you're ever in doubt whether you have found them all, there should be 10 of each number. We have one here. All right, and then we roll the second one. And if I had rolled a 5 again, I'll add 1 to the number. If I roll a 6 before and add 1 to the result, it will be 7, but then we just wrap around and get 1. All right, that was another 5 right here. I rolled a 6, so I'll scratch this out. So this is shade in the garden. I think that was it. All right. Shade means that we can't plant stuff on the shade. So we have to wrap our garden beds around it. Now we will roll for likes and dislikes. So we have a cat and a dog in the garden, as you can see here. And they like stuff and they don't like stuff. So what we'll do is that we first roll what they like. So roll a 6, which is actually good because then I can show you that if we roll a 6 up here, we can't use it and we need to re-roll until we get something else. So I got a 4. Our cat really likes this flower. So every single one of these flowers next to a cat will provide 1 extra point. Our dog really likes pathways. So we'll have some pathway down here. Our cat really dislikes pathways. And our dog really dislikes, that was the same, a 3. It really disliked tulips, apparently. Like so. All right, so now we have completed the how to play, or like the setup part. So now we will roll 2 dice and we will draw some stuff. And we have 10 rounds to score the maximum points available. Each flower is 1 point. So a cluster of, for example, this cluster right here is 5 points of the flower you place in it. And if you place correctly, we will get, for example, if I place, this is more legal, if I place a flower here, it will already get 2 points because it's a flower in itself, which is a point, and the cat likes it, it's another point. But the cat also dislikes pathways. So if I got a pathway here, it will be 0 points. All right. So at the beginning of the game, we will have to roll 2 dice. So for example, let me roll 2 dice. I got a 3 and a 6. So what I can do is I can take that 3 and that 6. I'll explain this one later. Or I can take this 3 and that 6 to place in the garden. But let's say, because this one is quite obvious on what to do, if I place that in the garden, I'll need to place it next to a pathway, because this is legal placement. I can place flowers next to other flowers or next to pathway. And since we only have 2 pathways in the garden in the beginning of the game, I can either place flowers here or I can place flowers here. I can place them both diagonally and you know the other one, orthogonally. So this one is quite simple. Let me just do like so. The other one with the 3 and the 6 is that one and that one. So I can have a big shape with a flower of my choice or a pathway. But I will get 2 weeds that will sprout up in the garden as well. What I can do with that is that I have 2 abilities down here. So I can rotate any shape, or I can say that I get no weeds from rolling a 6. Or I can add 1 to a dice roll, or re-roll 1 dice. These comes in pairs. So if I X this one out because I used that one, I cannot use this one. I can use the abilities whenever I want to. All right, so let's just say that I didn't want that one, or I want the ability because I don't want the weed to sprout. All right, so next up, what do we want to do? The way we score the plants in this game is by the biggest cluster of things. So if I have 2 of any type of plant here, and I have 1 of the same type of plant over there, I will only score points for these 2. This one does not count. Also, I have a symbiosis aspect to this game. So this flower can only score points if 1 in a cluster is adjacent to this flower. Let me just show you how this works. So let's say we want to, this flower right here, have this next to the cat. So I cannot rotate the shape. So let's just have it right here. And hope we roll some good stuff and can get it down next to the cat. So this is us prepping for next round. All right, so that was 1 turn. Now, if I want this to score any points at all, I want tulips to be next to it. So if just 1 of this cluster is next to a tulip plant, this tulip plant could also be up here. The whole thing will score. And as before, if we have 2 plants here and 1 plant here, so X is this flower, Y is the tulip, this will score, this will not score. All right. So let's just roll 1 more, see what we get. We get a 1 and a 2. So that did not work that well for us. So let me just remove this. So we got a 1 and a 2 on these 2. Okay. We could place that tulip. It's an illegal placement because I didn't roll it. We could place it right here, have the 2 and the 1, but no. Let's just do like so. The 2 and the 1. All right. And that's how this game works. At the end of the game, you will score and you'll write it over here. So we have all the positive points and all the negative points right here. Only negative points is the weed you have in the garden. This small text down here says that if you manage to connect 2 pathways, so there are 4, sorry about that. There are 4 pathways in the garden to connect to. If you connect one of them, you'll score, like you score plants, you will score for each individual path you have connected. And if you manage to connect multiple, you'll score for each one, basically. So that was the second game. Let me just close it down and open the last one. So this is the last game. It is kind of similar as the one before. What is more important now is that you have a die with number, and you have a die with pips on it. Same as before, we have 10 rounds to score the most points as we can. And what we want to do in this game is to attract nature back to this cultivated farmland. So we have a bit of a weird grid here, and it takes some getting used to, but I think you'll manage it. So we have, what we'll do in the beginning is that we have to roll for dislikes. So we have some animals over here that dislike stuff. Except the butterfly, it really likes everything. So what we'll do is that we roll, I roll a 1 for the fish, which it does not like needle trees. The bird does not like flowers. The deer does not like broadleaf trees. And the mouse does not like, if you roll the same, which is what I did now, I roll the grass, so it cannot dislike and like the same thing. You re-roll, and I got a 5, and it dislikes flowers. Then we have to draw a cottage, right here. And then we begin the game. So what we do is that we roll the 2 dice, and we have to start by placing stuff around the cottage. What we do is that we roll 1 die that gives us this shape that we will pair up with the shape of the numbered dice, and you have to they have to fit together, so to speak. So what we do is that we roll. I got a 4, so I got this shape with the small squares, and I got a 2. So let me show you. I got these 2 right here. So I got a broadleaf tree on this shape, and I got 4 squares that I will need to place. All right. So what I want to do is that we want to have birds, because sorry, they are attracted to broadleaf trees. So we have 1 here, and let's just do this. Like so. I could also do the opposite and take this shape and put up here. It is up to you how you want to place this. When you have surrounded an octagon completely, and what I mean by completely is you fill all these with stuff, you will lure in an animal to this area. Depending on the majority of what you have surrounded the octagon with, you will lure in the animal who likes the majority. So let's say we manage to surround this area only with broadleaf trees. So we will lure in a bird. So right in here, we will lure in a bird. And now, when you lure in stuff, in time you'll manage to unlock some abilities over here. So a bird is here, and if we manage to get either a butterfly or a deer, we will either be able to re-roll a numbered dice, or re-roll and add 1 to a numbered dice. All right, If the majority is tied, so let me just show you how that works. So if we have broadleaf trees like so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have lakes here. So now these two are tied. So it can either be a fish or it can be a bird. You will choose what you want. All right, the same as the game before. If something scores, it needs another plant next to it. So if I want broadleaf trees to score points, I will have to have a needle tree next to it. And only one is enough. So if there's one needle tree here, this whole cluster of broadleaf trees will score points. So if I'm clever, I will obviously place broadleaf trees like so, because we already have a needle tree there. Let me just see if there's something more I need to explain. All right, so things can get complicated a bit. So if we do like so, and this here is flowers, and we have a bird here. That's a bird. And we have flowers here. Like so. So in our game, birds do not like flowers. So that will nullify the points of these 3 flowers. So they won't score at all. You won't get any points for them. But if there's a flower here, only the flowers surrounding the bird won't score points. This one still does. When you have finished up the 10 rounds, you will place your scoring down here. So this is the needle tree, the lake, the grass, the broadleaf trees, and the flowers down here. You'll write the amount of point next to it. Oh, one thing. This one allows us to just choose any of the above. The one right here, basically it says that you have 2 small squares that you can place anywhere. So it does not follow the rule up here. And I think that was it. Only one small thing left is that I have this other sheet here, which just tells you more stuff about this couple who lived on the farm, and it provides you with different ways of drawing you know, needle trees and broadleaf trees and flowers. So each of these, if you want to use it, let me just right here, each of these score the same. So if you choose to draw different flowers, they all score as 1 flower. Same with grass and needle trees. So I tend to ramble a lot, and I know this might have been positive going through this, but please let me know in the comments if you have any questions regarding the games that I have just told you stuff about.